Yo, what's up? It's Ronek, your host here at Got No Control Podcast, Graffiti Podcast for all my graffiti writers. Y'all might know me as Krylon Talk from Instagram. We had to change the name due to some legal stuff, but we're back, live and direct. I'm right here. I got my boy Pistol45 in the house. What's cracking?
What's going on, man?
Hey, thank you for coming out today. I appreciate you stopping by.
Thank you.
We're breaking the ice. We're starting off fresh, and we'll see where it takes us.
Yeah, thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it.
It's all love. So let's start by telling the people, where did the name Pistol45 come from?
You know what, man? I just like the letters. You know what I mean? I like the P, the I, the S, the T, and I was just looking for a name that had some cool letters. You know what I mean? And I didn't realize that, man. You know, when you're out there tagging, that it has a lot of letters. You know?
Yeah.
And I end up cutting it short to P45. That when I'm out there writing, you know, a lot of times you'll see P45 more than pistol sometimes, and it just depends on the time and the area. And yeah, man.
You know, sometimes you gotta be in and out, throw up, quick action.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes we don't got the time that we wish that we had.
Man, for real, bro.
And can you share a little bit about how old when you started into the graffiti scene and what got you started?
Oh man, you know what? I must have been like, man, I want to say I got into it somewhere between like 9 and 11, man. And you know, the kind of the normal stuff like with everybody else. You know, I seen Beach Street. I seen like out here there was a lot of gang graffiti, and that used to like pump me up. I used to see my brother and his homeboys freaking do some head ups with spray paint, and that would amp me up, bro. You know, I seen them, and I would wait for them in the car sometimes as a little kid. Not being involved in none of that, but I was just like a little kid, and they would be like, "Hey, hold on right here," and they would just go put in work, strike it up, and yeah, that was my early remembering as far as I can remember, and then you know Beach Street, Subway Art, Spray Can Art, just there was just a lot of graffiti back then. They didn't buff a lot, you know, a lot of like people would head up on their PG folders back in the days,
Yeah.
and it was just amazing to me, man. I gravitated towards it, man. You know.
Is there a writer that you could say that you didn't get influenced by, but you kind of looked at him like, man, I'm trying to get like that or better?
Oh man, heck yeah! There's a long list of them, man.
Top 5?
Top 5. I mean, some people probably. I mean, people that are well known or just
No, just someone that you looked at. Maybe it could be a neighborhood graffiti writer that you were like, oh man, I like his stuff. I want to get my shit cracking like that.
Yeah, you know what, man? My first what do you call it? The first like writers that I looked up to as far as taggers were like the homie, my homie Snoop, SNOOP, and he lived down the street from me, man. And that guy right there, he was like the neighborhood hero. He could draw, play football, just everything. You know what I mean? He was a ladies' man, and I was just, you know what I mean? You want to like, man, I want to grow up to be like Snoop. You know, Snoop was the coolest.
Snoop had all the girls.
Yeah, he did, man. He was you know what I mean? A freaking, what do you call that dude?
A Mac Daddy?
Nah, that's another name. But anyway, yeah, he was one of them, and you know, he had markers that would shake, man, and I would just like, man, they shake, and I would smell them. I'm like, oh man, what the hell? Because before that, I just knew about marks a lot.
Okay.
And he had uni paints and mean streaks, and then I ran into the homeboy Chi, and man, when I ran into him, this guy, like, I kid you not, he came from the bottom up, but he at the time he like lived in a shack, like the ones you buy at Home Depot and put together, and this guy had like freaking shoe boxes full of mean streaks, uni paints, and I was just like a kid in a candy store, you know?
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, man. And then from there, those are kind of like my influences, my first influences. And he played a big part. That was my mentor. And then I was, you know, blessed to meet the homie Skill as a youngster. And, you know, I met him through Crisis.
Mm-hmm.
We used to sell bud on the block, and those were my brother's homeboys, and you know, this is back in the day with nickel bags, you know, sass weed and brick weed, Mexican brick weed.
Before all these super names like the Super Bomb, Don.
Yeah, and
they got a name for everything now.
Yeah, my brother was like, "Hey, man, this guy's a tagger too," and you know, he would always introduce people to me, and and he introduced me to Skill, and Skill
Okay.
had a major influence in me, man. You know what I mean? What it was is Chi and Skill. So man, damn. After that, it was just a whole bunch of people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was a lot. There's a lot, man. Those are the major influences, though. Those three guys right there.
Dope, dope. I heard you mention that the term tagger.
Hmm.
So for a lot of people out there that don't know the difference, what do you feel is the proper way to address you? Tagger, graffiti writer, bomber, street artist. What do you prefer?
You know what? I like the term writer. You know,
Writer.
yeah, man. That one's always stuck to me. You know what I mean? I say tagger because I guess that was the old school way. I never hear nobody really saying like, "Hey, he's a tagger." You know?
Yeah, because nowadays most cats will just be like, "Hey, what's up? You right?"
Yeah, man. So writer, I like the term writer, man. You know?
Dope, dope. And I also know that you mentioned you grew up in Compton. Can you share a little bit about the Compton graffiti scene when you were coming up?
Yeah, you know what? Like I said, there was a lot of gang graffiti, and you know what? I say Compton just because a lot of people don't know where Willowbrook's at, the Willowbrook area. But
Okay.
I like to represent the Willowbrook area, man. But we say Compton just because people don't. It's kind of like Bixby knows. You don't say Bixby knows. You say Long Beach. You know.
Yeah, kind of like Signal Hill. They don't be like,
Yeah,
"Hey, I'm
yeah,
at Signal Hill." No,
yeah,
you're in Long Beach.
yeah. No disrespect to anybody from Bixby Knolls
Hey,
or Signal
same
Hill,
here. No
but
disrespect.
but the Willowbrook area and that borders Compton and Watts and Linwood.
Okay.
And those three cities had a big influence for me. And but yeah, I come from that area, man. 90059, 118th Street, on Mona and Willowbrook,
The,
right
fun-
down the street from the Imperial Blue Line station.
the foundation.
Yeah, that's the foundation. I was born in Martin Luther King Hospital, so I got roots in the hood, man, since
Yeah, that's what's up, man.
day one.
That's what's up.
Uh,
Growing up, what would you say you started painting with? What were your utensils? Was it whatever you could get your hands on, or did you have a specific thing that you would go and grab?
yeah. Damn, man, my bad. I didn't answer your question. I think my bad. I get thrown off.
That's all good, brother.
You said what would I see up? Oh my bad.
As far as like being in Compton,
Oh, what were my
growing up, like
yeah.
how was the scene out there? Like the graffiti scene, was there a bunch of guys painting graffiti? Was it just a little bit of you guys?
Oh man, you know what? When I was a kid, growing up, the guys that were up everywhere, man, you had the KCCs, you had the VIPs, you had the COKs, um, you had KK down more, and those were the ones that stuck out to me, right? But like if I were to go to the South Central, and I know we're talking about Compton, but I mean those guys, just to give them a shout out, I would see the the NTSs
Okay.
and the S&Ms, and you would see Skill in them UTI too, and you knew that it was more advanced graffiti. But at that time, like the KCCs were a big deal, and the VIPs, the COKs, and all the gang graffiti. Man, it was just like a lot of gang graffiti. I mean,
And what year are we talking? What year were you say is this?
oh man, this is from the mid to late '80s. This is before I even really started writing. This is just me growing up and seeing all the stuff down Alameda,
Okay.
Imperial, Alameda mainly. There was a lot of graffiti on Alameda, and yeah, yeah.
Okay, dope. Thank you for sharing that. And like I was asking before, would you say there's something that you used to paint graffiti? Was there a certain thing that gravitated your interest, or did you just grab whatever you get your hands on and just start going at it?
Yeah, you know what? Marks a lot. We didn't know what really what the good markers where you could get them or anything. Back then we had Thrifties, Builders Emporium, and stuff like that, and we knew about Sharpies, Marks a lot. Um, Man, there was the Magnums. We thought we were hard when we seen Magnums,
The
but
big ones?
yeah,
Yeah.
but they stink. I mean,
Yeah, them shit smell,
give
bro.
you cancer right away. You can feel it in your bones, and
Go home, hey, ¿qué traes?
yeah, man.
Nah, I'm all right, I'm all
For
right.
real, they would mess you up. But like, and then the taggers in the school, we would try to make. We would hear about uni wides, but we didn't know where to get them. But we would get the deodorant stick and put the chalkboard, break it in half, and put ink in there, and it was pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, nowadays kids got it easy, man. Now you got to just walk to the local graffiti store or art
Yeah.
supply store where you want to get, hey, I want this, I want that, and you're ready to go.
Yeah, no, back then we would invent stuff. I remember some of the neighborhood writers right there. I remember Faisal and Think. No, that was one of my names. It was
Mhm.
another. No, this guy, man, I forgot what his name, but he actually would get a perfume bottle and somehow get spray paint and put it in there, and it would like be incognito, and you could get a couple of tags with it. And
Oh shit.
so we would be very creative, man. And it wasn't until like I met Chi, like man, he would sell us stuff, but like he taught us how to rack and just a lot of stuff, man. How to do all that,
And
man.
and that's dope that you guys had like an older homie to kind of show you guys like, hey man, this is what you should be using. I got this, whoop the whoop, and put you on because a lot of guys nowadays don't got that. They're just on the internet because the internet is a hell of a drug right now.
Oh, bro, we didn't have no internet, no cell phones, no pagers when I started. Nah, there was nothing but a payphone, and we didn't really use those, man. We would just be out there and
So how would you guys do it when you guys, for example, you put up a burner, right? And obviously you want to kind of like store it mentally, but you want to have a memory. Would you guys just go take a picture or how would that work?
well, I mean, back then we would have the 110 disposable cameras. Oh
Yeah.
no, actually, they weren't disposable. You had disposable, and then you just had the regular ones. The funny film had like 2 rows and a little bridge, and man, that's how it was back then. We started. I remember me and the homie Quiet. We would go out there and take pictures, and it was cool. We would then develop them. We would sometimes still film. Quite wasn't big on racking, but like I would always share my stuff. I would buy and rack, and
That's the thing that sucks for me,
yeah.
brother, because growing up painting, like I was taught not to take no pictures. Like you don't want to get caught up. You don't want to be carrying no pictures or have something at the house that can incriminate you.
Oh man, yeah, that's a good thing because I got caught up later on, man, and they took albums that I had and like in my mid '90s stuff, and so that was actually some good advice. But it's always good to keep it there unless you had a stash. But I remember they took a lot of my pictures, man, that I'll never get back, man.
And I regret it, but I'm not gonna lie. I regret not taking pictures of my stuff because now that I'm older, I mean, I be out there. I paint, but it's not like before. Like that's all you have. That's all you do day and night because you got nothing else to do.
Yeah,
As you
yeah.
get older, you got to go to work. If not, how you gonna feed yourself? You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, the homie, me and Quiet, that was our hobby, bro. We would go out and we would go far on buses and anything we like. It wasn't just our stuff. It's just like we would jump out of a bus and with our fake bus passes, man, and yeah, bro, we'd be out there in the Vermont lines, like,
Oh wow, you guys will get out there, out there.
bro, we were out there. I look back now, I'm like, man, what was I thinking about, man? And like, I wouldn't do that now, man. You know what I mean? I haven't caught the bus. I don't know how damn long, bro.
Mhm.
I hate it because you always run into trouble, but back then I loved it. I loved the adrenaline. I loved like, hey man, we made it home. We didn't get beat down. We didn't get jagged. We didn't get shot. But there was times, that happened, man. But I mean, the rush was like you came back home and you did it and you wanted to do it again.
Can you share a little bit about that? Like, what would cause for you guys to get beat up, or shot at, or even mess with at all?
Well, we would be out there. We would be like just trying to tag and get up, but you know what? We would be so hyped in that moment or that passion that we would end up in these crazy neighborhoods, and we'd be
Okay.
like, we would forget about these guys that were in that neighborhood, and we'd be at bus stops just slipping, bro. And to them, they just seen an opportunity to pick on us, or because I know we didn't look dangerous. We got a lot of passes because we still had baby faces, and hey, but some guys didn't care. Where you from? Oh, we don't gang bang. What you mean you don't gang bang? And they'll sweat us hard, bro. Make us pick up our shirts.
You
Have
know where
us
you're at.
stuttering.
You know where you're
Yeah.
at. You got any placas?
Hey man, I ain't gonna lie though, bro. Like we would look at each other like, man, bro, we're gonna get hurt. And a lot of the times they gave us passes, but a few times they didn't, man. And man, they gave us the blues, bro. But it was part of the fun, man.
And I mean, at the end of the time, I feel like that molds you. Even though it's not something I would be happy for someone to go through, but it kind of molds you to like not be scared of throwing fists. Because it comes with the as a graffiti writer, when you're out there, fights are gonna happen. Whether it's you painted the wrong place, or you're at the yard without somebody's permission, or anything could cause into a fist fight.
Man, I'll keep it real, bro. Like we came in a time where the fist fights were fading away. You were getting smoked. You know what I mean? Like
Okay.
people, and you had this fear. Like you didn't think about getting beat up. You thought about like, man, I'm gonna get smoked. Everything was like, the murder rate was high back then, man. Like, wait, I mean, murder's bad at any rate, but I mean the murder rate was it was high at an all-time high back then, man. You would hear drive-bys and or shootouts, unless it was close to you, like within a block or down the street. You would actually turn around and be a little spooked, but you could hear it 2 blocks down, and you know, man, it's crazy to explain, but it was that wild, bro. It was like, and we were that was a fear of to us, man, and we would run, man. We would, man. Gangsters looked like gangsters back then, like.
Like all
They look demonic possessed, bro. It was crazy. You know, like nowadays I see some stuff. They still, you got a lot of people that are crazy as heck right now. But back then it was just a whole different time. And that was, I mean, I just want to keep it real that most of the time we would be out there. Like once we seen gangsters, we were nervous, bro. Unless, you had these riders that like that's another thing. They had these riders, man, that would get on buses and like, you had the KWSs, the NTSs, the MBTs, those 3 crews that I would hear of.
yeah.
And man, a lot of them were brothers, bro. A lot of brothers. And I mean brothers, I mean like black folks. That's like a respectful way of me saying black folks. But I'm talking about, man, you don't see these guys around that much, right? But there's a couple out there, shout out to Mozart and shout out to just all the homies that came up to in that era. But much love to Flex, respect, but you would hear these guys and rumors like they would beat you down, bro. We're talking about being on the Vermont bus lines and Slauson. They would beat you down and leave you butt naked, bro. Like take your clothes. Like it was bad, bro.
Over what though? Just being there and catching a tag or what?
Bro, man, I don't know what their thing was. Like they would these guys would beat each other down, and I mean these guys were just big, tall dudes, and man, it's just the era back then. It was crazy to explain, and they were just
on some other level.
I don't know what to call them, but like I would just call them like rider bullies. But they would, man, when you seen them get on the bus, you either sat in the middle or got off because you know that they were gonna spank you, man. They were gonna jack you, and if you didn't have what it takes, you better be quiet and play it off like whatever. And
would you say they would fall under the term tag bangers?
Man, this was even before tag banging, because tag banging they made it like big in Fox News.
Okay.
This was already like it was still graffiti, you know what I mean? There was just a lot of stories of people, and you heard these rumors like so and so, like, hey man, like you get caught slipping, man. I feel sorry for you. So there was that fear too. And this was actually as I was coming up as a youngster already getting into graph. And you had CLKs, the KCCs, the NTSs, the VIPs. You would hear stories of them, and as a youngster, you're like 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That was spooky back then, man. And you would just be like, damn, I hope I don't get caught slipping, because you knew like you would always try to put a front like you could handle yours, but deep inside you were like, I'm gonna get my ass whooped, man. I'm gonna get hurt,
and this was just riding the bus where they were at.
Yeah, man, bus riding, it was big, bro. It was bigger than anything, to me. Because back then you had a scene. You had your little toy tags in the neighborhood. Then you like graduated to buses, and then like the bus riding was big, bro. I mean, and then you had like the landmarking scene. Then you had the throw up scene. Then you had the piecing scene. Like nowadays you don't have all that, man. Nowadays you just have like
throw-ups all over the place.
Throw-ups, bombing, and piecing. And back then, buses is where it was at, man. It was amazing.
Can you share a little bit about the bus scene?
I'll do as best as I can, man. And excuse me for coughing, and excuse me if I miss anything, but
it's all good, brother.
From my memory, it was a little shoddy, you know what I mean? But man, I kid you not, you would get on buses and you couldn't see out the windows, man. Especially the Vermont bus lines.
Okay.
We had the little bus lines in Compton, and the 60. The 60 was a bus line, and shout out to Resist and Soak and Chi, Nike, all those guys, because they put us on with the bus riding scene, and the homie Range, rest in peace, Weasel, everybody from the neighborhood. But anyway, like, we would go down the street. We knew a good spot to catch buses, and we would like just post up right there, man, for like an hour. Jump, like we could see how, and we would time it with the stop sign, stop signs and stoplights. And we would do our thing, and sometimes we would hold the back of the bus doors open. If you hold them back, the bus couldn't move forward, so you would be stuck, and we would just ride all over it. And man, it was just fun and wild. The adrenaline, it was like nothing else, man. Like your adrenaline was at like just your heart was pumping out your chest, and
that was like a good way to go out city because that bus was going all over the city.
oh yeah, man, you guys had it down to a science that knew like they would get divisions, like they had the 5 division, the 2 division, all that, and they knew where the layups would get it, so they knew that those buses would go like everywhere, and yeah, man, you would see people up all over the city. You know what I mean? If you follow the buses, and it was just it was amazing, man. I miss it, and that's the one thing that I regret not taking pictures of us just being on the bus, tagging on and just doing just crazy stuff, just damage. That's I mean, as a kid, that was cool.
Those are memories that just stay in the memory bank.
Yeah,
and
man.
Something like good to have.
We talk about it, but it's like if you didn't live it, man. If I got the tail end of it too, man. Like I got the very tail end of it, like, and I got to enjoy a few years of it, man. I did my little thing. People that remember will remember, and I mean, I'm glad that I got the tail end, but I wish I would have been like in '88 and all that. But I mean, I would hear stories though, like people would get down, like the homie Flex would tell me, like, "Hey man, we would get down and just throw down with fools," with damn man, I'm forgetting names right now, but
throw it down for just the opportunity to hit up the bus.
Well, they would have beef with the riders, and they would run into each other, and they would just they would get down, man, and just scrap, and they would have fame from scrapping, but later on, all the gunplay and all that crap started coming. But
yeah, and now that you mentioned that, if you don't mind, I would like to get into it. How do you feel when it comes to beef? Like, how do you feel it should get addressed when you have a beef with another graffiti writer?
Man, if you got to play it like by ear, man, I mean, it's good to like man, everybody's different, but I like to be on the positive side.
Okay.
And if you could talk it out and be like, "Hey man, what's going on?" And some of those guys, they're not gonna respond to you the same way. But man, to be truthful, you could talk about anything. You could talk it out, and sometimes you let them woof or whatever, but like get to the bottom of it and try to squash it.
Yeah, because to anybody out there, sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, no, you good.
To anybody out there listening, I understand that sometimes it's because they slept with your girl, or they did something to a loved one, or sometimes a good homie of yours passes away, and this guy comes and goes over that last piece that he had up.
Oh man,
and I understand those beefs are to the heart, and I understand. And whoever's listening out there, you do what you got to do. I mean, I'm not here telling nobody what to do.
Man, you know what? That goes back to me, like when I got into writing, man, there was a big gang culture, and I seen how negative and destroyful it was, and I remember my brother, man. I give my brother, they call him Fern.
Okay.
And
Rights as well.
Nah, he was he got into the hoods and yeah, man, know, and well, he told me, man, and either he seen something or he's just seen that, like, hey man, why don't you be a tagger? Because back then, believe it or not, or it's just how close minded we were. You know what I mean? Because back then it was different, man. We didn't really get out the hood like we used to, like we do now, or we didn't know about getting on a bus and traveling. We were kind of stuck right there, and most of the folks that grew up got in the hood, the local neighborhood gang, and so he told me, hey man, you should be a tagger, and there was a little part of me that wanted to be from the hood,
Yeah.
But you know what?
Like, I want to be like my brother. Put me on.
Yeah, but you know what, man? My brother, I guess, like, and I'm just being too damn transparent, but he probably was like, hey, man, you're not going to cut it, Like, and believe me, the streets, they spit you out, man. If you don't got it, it'll spit you out like, hey, man, you ain't cut out for this. And I realized that too. Like, you know what? I want to be alive. I don't want to get shot, man. Because man, believe it or not, back then, we're talking about 90, 91, when gangs would hit you up and you tell them you were a tagger, they would give you a pass, bro. They'll be like, man, whatever,
Fuck out of here.
Yeah. Like, and I'll be like, oh, cool, man. They'll look at you up and down and kind of like, yeah, you ain't,
Yeah, I've been in situations where like, what's up? Where you from? What do? Man, get the fuck on. Get out of here.
Yeah, bro. And I use that, and it wasn't until like the tag banging Fox News things that messed that up. But anyway, I'm bringing all this up because I'm trying to say, like, you got to remember, like, you should have gotten a hood, maybe. You know what I mean? If you want to be with all that madness, like being a writer, you should know, like, hey, man, like, keep it cool, man. Try to keep it like, at a minimum with the violence, because graffiti is fun, and you got to remember why you got into it. Like, you remember the movies, the Beat Street, the Style Wars, all that. You
Wild
did it because
style.
you did it for the art. And I had to put that in my head, man. Like, hey, man, I got into it because of this. I didn't get into it to get with some phony beef. If that was the case, I should have just gotten the hood and get smoked like my homies. I lost some homies that got in, and that's why I look back. I think my brother, Big Fern, thank you, man. You know what I mean?
Shout out Big Fern.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah, man. I had this conversation with a couple of my friends too, where it's like, I understand some people want to tag bang, and a lot of them tell me it's because they feel like they built something and they're so overprotected over it because they started from ground zero up. But then I try to explain, look, bro, at the end of the day, we just paint graffiti, and our goal is to be all city. Get your style dope, get up as much as you can while you can, because you get to a certain age where you get caught up, you lose everything.
Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely, man. And then, you just never know how violent or what the other guy, because other guys, man, they'll hype somebody. Instead of them handling their own beef,
Yeah,
they'll freaking get their homie, hype them up, and try to get them. There's all kind of weird ass beef, man. But if you can't handle it by yourself, like a man, and be brave, don't be a coward, handle your own thing. You shouldn't, just chill, man.
because a fist fight at the end of the day is just bruises and scars. They go away.
Yeah, man, and you gotta be careful though, man, because you never know. You want to fist fight somebody, and
Turns out to be a boxer and shit.
well, that too, or UFC, because everybody knows something now. So don't even look for
You're
that.
right there. You're right there like this, and motherfucker, blah. You didn't even know where it came from. Like, oh shit.
It can have you on a weird headlock, but my mind's still back in the days. I'm still like kind of stuck in the '90s. So I'm like, be careful, man, because this fool might smoke you, or stab you to death, and you just gotta play it by ear, man. You know what I mean? But at the same, on that same token, just try to, man, squash it if you can, because then that way you could keep having fun with your graffiti, man. And to me, that's always
definitely. I mean, at the end of the point, it's all to have fun. Everybody's going through
graffiti,
something.
man. I always remind myself that it's graffiti, bro. It's not the end of the world. It's not a freaking somebody didn't slap your mom. If somebody slapped your mom, your wife, or your dad, business. Then hey, man, by all means, freaking try to take his head off. But it's graffiti, man. You got to remind yourself that, man. Like, don't take it too damn serious. I know that'll fall on deaf ears, but I like to be positive with it, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you. At times I'm the same way, but then you do have those times where you just got to step up and do your thing.
Yeah, there's times where, hey, man, you got to defend yourself, man. But I mean, I fear God, man, and you know what? I just gotta, you know what I mean? Give peace a chance, man, if you can.
Definitely, bro. I feel that. So you being from I2W, is it I2W or I2W?
It's I2W. We call it,
Can you share a little bit about the crew? Where is it originally from? How it started, and
yes, sir,
and the members, if you can.
Yeah, man. Like again, it goes back to Chi.
Okay.
I mean, we were a part of a crew called LC.
Okay.
And these guys killed it on buses. It was just crazy, right? Put it, grills, inside grills, freaking side panels, scribes, just front destinations. Man, you had all these names for it, right?
Yeah.
So something happened, you know what I mean? I don't know from his part, but he broke up the crew, and I was heartbroken. To me, being from it and making it to that crew, it meant everything to me. And
we're talking LC.
Yeah, LC.
What does LC stand for? If you don't mind sharing.
For losing control.
Losing control.
Yeah,
okay.
And so he broke it up. I was heartbroken. I was like, I remember I was teary eyed, bro. It was just.
I just earned my blues, man. Come on.
Yeah, man. I was just like, I was from it for like a year or two,
Yeah.
and it was just horrible, man. It was heartbreaking, and I was like, what's up, man? Then he was going to the Marines, so I was like, man. He was like, you know what, man? Because I remember he told me the story that he did all these crazy tags on a bus, and then at the end of the bus, he put "in it to win it," like, "Hey, I'm in it to win it," and he put, "Yeah, man, put I2W and start your own little crew." And I don't think he thought nothing of it,
Yeah.
He just wanted to cheer me up.
Like, just get out of here.
Yeah, and he was always older than me, and so I remember walking down the street thinking to myself, like, I was just like, man, you know, I2W. I go, man, wait a minute. There's a DTW, and those guys were already. I heard, you know, I don't know if they were into beef, you know, and they had some dope riders. So out of respect, I was like, man, I'm gonna put the two. Cause I don't want to, you know, if it becomes something one day, I don't want to freaking be bumping heads, you know.
Yeah, I feel you.
So respect to me in the writing game, that goes a long way too.
Gotcha.
It's a good, you know, look for you. So anyway, I started putting I2W, man, and I got.
Oh, so you started the crew?
No, you know what? Yes, I want to say yes, but actually, you know, the homie Chi made up the meaning.
Okay.
So I gotta always give it to him, man, because he'll tell you, you know.
Hey man, I tell you, I came up with the name. It's all me.
And I let him, because you know what? I respect him. He's my elder, and I learned a lot from him. He's my mentor. Respect to you, Chi, man. And
shout out Chi.
Shout out Chi one, man. That's the big homie. And but yeah, you know, I ran with it, and it was just a few of us. The homie Quite Rest in Peace, Please, the homegirl Sin, and
oh, so you guys had a homegirl in the crew?
Yeah, that was the homie Cheese. He had a little rendezvous with her for a little while, a long time ago, and then they broke up. But you know, she was still cool with me, and you know, she kept on writing. And then I remember Resist was one of the first members too. And you know, people would clown me like, "Ah, man, get out of here with that, man. What the heck is that?" And the homie Range, rest in peace. You know, I remember him mocking me, and I'm like, man, whatever. You know, hey man, I would have never thought that we got to the level we're at. Back then, it blows my mind, you know, because we got some talented crew members.
And definitely shout out to the I2W crew.
Oh, thank you, bro.
I like to say I2W, so I'm gonna go with I2W.
Hey, man, there you go, bro. And but we started out on the buses, the tail end, and we started. I remember telling Quite like, "Hey, man, the throw ups and bombing, bro. That's where it's at." So I remember meeting like I was actually from HR also.
Okay.
Shout out to Thero and Jutes if they're still around, you know. And they put me up on game as far as getting on buses to go bombing. So they took me to downtown LA, like on the 60, like at 2, 3 in the morning.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we did some silvers and came back. I remember taking pictures, and I was like, oh, man, heck yeah. This is how they do it. You know, I'm thinking, right? But
yeah.
Not knowing that people still took cars, but we were still on the buses, you know, buses everywhere. And then from there, we started bombing, and then, you know, people started gravitating to us. And
for anybody that might be listening that doesn't understand what bombing means, can you explain to them a little what bombing is?
Man, it's bombing to me. It was like throw ups and solid letters, you know.
Okay.
And to me, that was before piecing. And so we started doing that. Me and Quiet, we were just doing our thing, and we just kept going at it, man. Then we started trying to piece. And then, you know, we started getting recognized, you know, in the mid-90s. And we were getting some love, man. And we got some members, Intrude, Cinco, Tribute, Resist, Woes.
Okay.
Man, we just started getting, and then, you know, people started noticing us, and we started just keeping it up. And, man, we went, then, you know, shout out to the Long Beach heads too. We met a well, and then we got Rick in. Coed and Steam.
Shout out Rick.
Yeah,
I met Rick. He's a cool dude. Shout out Rick.
Yeah, Rick's a real cool dude. Bro.
Yeah, I picked up some. He had the Cobra paint for a while.
Oh yeah,
he came through, hooked us up.
Oh, that's right.
Shout out Rick.
Yeah, I don't know if he's still doing that, but yeah, he's probably still got the hookup. Anyway, you know, we met them, and that was dope. We connected with Long Beach, and then we started piecing more and piecing, and you know, we were just one of those dudes that we pieced on the weekends. That's what we did. And
okay.
You know, we went dormant for a little while as far as like crew, but those guys like Rick and them, they always kept going, and they always kept going, but like we resurfaced kind of as a crew, like in 2015, and we kind of came back with a vengeance, man. I mean, to us, that's, you know what I mean.
Well, did you guys ever land any beef, like serious beef coming up?
You know what? Thank God, no.
Okay.
Because I always, you know, remember like what I was telling you, like, hey man, this ain't a gang, you know what I mean? I always try to keep it cool and respectful, and any beef, we just try to squash it right away. So to this day, I could say we never had no serious beef. We had light competitions, unspoken competition, but it was in the graffiti love. It was no no beef, none of that crazy stuff, man. And because I remember, like I got into this for graph, the love of the art,
Yeah, 'cause I thought we were
not to
gonna get one
be.
of those. Yeah, this one time.
Nah. I'm pretty sure, like, we probably got on somebody's nerves or like, but it was never to where they had to hurt us or nothing, man, like, or we had to hurt them. We stood up for ours though, man. As we got older, we
Yeah,
started growing men's strength. We got in our 20s, our 30s, and we could handle ours. And the homies, we don't let no weenie people in. You know what I mean?
I
And
feel you.
I mean, not to say that there's some hardcore or whatever, but like we know how to survive. A lot of us we just survived out here in the hood. You know what I mean? And
Definitely.
we were good at it, man. We found out how to speak game and how to get through, how to make money, how to like survive through jail, and you know.
Do you guys have like
Excuse me.
like youngsters that you guys shed light on, like that are trying to get into the crew or possibly from the crew?
You know what, man? I trip out because when I was coming up, you would meet teenagers, and
Mhm.
preteens getting into graffiti. And
Yeah.
nowadays, the youngest you'll find is like they're in their late 20s, man. And a lot of my homies, we're already in our mid 40s,
Yeah.
and so we don't got no youngsters. The youngest guy that we got in the crew is probably like 30.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and then yeah, man, and it's I mean, at this point, we just I mean, we're not big on recruiting. It's just if we get to know you, and then like
Kind
if
of more like a family vibe.
yeah, cause we're small. We're family, like a family crew, man. Like we try to keep. We're close, and we're not big. We never try to be big. We just wanted to have our own little niche, and we wanted to be my vision a long time ago. And I give a shout out to the K for P's. You know what I mean? Like Zuko,
You said
uh,
K4P?
yeah, Zuko, Pranks, C's, all those guys. I remember being young, and I wanted I2W to be like kind of modeled after the stuff they were doing, like Mask, Ain, all those guys. Man, those guys are man. My head
Shout
goes
out
off to them.
K4P.
Yeah, shout out to
I
the.
seen that production that did with Saber from MSK. They did something right there off the, I believe it's a 5 right there,
Oh
kind
yeah, yeah,
of
I
like by
seen
the
that.
Citadel.
Yeah, man. But
Yeah.
but like I wanted to be that, but over here on like kind of the east side, Compton, Watts,
Yeah.
like uh we that was my vision at least. And then we started doing productions. We met Steam and people that just helped us to get in another level. We even the homie Skill is from I2W. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So we just people that have that
And
that.
now that we talk about a little bit about piecing
Mm,
and productions, what do you say to the generation now that don't take that much pride in actually putting up a piece of production? Because nowadays, I mean, no disrespect to anybody out there doing their thing, all respect to you, but a lot of guys don't really worry about productions or piecing anymore.
um, man, you know what? I mean, the people that I interact with, they're into it. I don't meet a lot of people that are man. I'm not that good at keeping my ear to like up and coming people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just kind of in my own little world, own zone, and the homies I have with. So, but I mean, if they're not, and they're just doing some ugly stuff and don't just want to get up, because there's guys that do ugly stuff and get up. There's been a bunch of those, and they do their thing. But
Yeah.
I've like for I2W, I've always wanted the homies like Chi brought us up on that, like Can Control, dope letters, and he pushed us, to get better and better, and we learned from people like Skill, the UTI crew.
Yeah,
Um,
because you tag go way back, huh?
yeah, UTI goes way back, man. They're like mid 80s, early mid 80s.
Yeah, I have the privilege to meet a couple of those guys.
Yeah, man, and that's what we vision ourselves like to be real good like them, and they just drop knowledge or not, yeah, knowledge and magic with the can, man. They just get down and made it. That was big in LA, big, like they to have can control, to be neat, to be clean, and just to make your stuff stand out and colorful and dope. That was the goal. Like I don't know what if folks ain't doing that, then that trips me out. I'm just like, man, shoot. I mean, the goal is to be
Yeah.
dope and
Because
fresh.
I mean, I keep my eye open. When I'm around, I keep my eye open, and I do notice that It's not like before. Before people take a little bit more pride in adding more colors, more detail, putting
Mhm.
bomb in pieces. And some will debate that it's because the time limit, and I understand. And again, like I said, I'm not here trying to put nobody down. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. But I just wanted to bring that up. Also, for anybody out there that's listening that does not understand what can control is when you could control that can and do magical things with it.
Yeah, yeah, man. You just you got a crispy outline. You don't need to put a cardboard or I mean, me personally, I frown on people that use a cardboard and or just a cardboard to make a straight line. To me, I mean, I got raised back then like the homie chief. Like it goes back to him, and I'm thankful, man, that I had him as a mentor. He was hard on me, bro, but like he never used no cardboard or nothing, bro. He was
Just
just like,
straight.
yeah, yeah, practice makes
And
perfect.
back then, we're talking stock tips.
It's not. I mean, we had testers and fat cats, but there was a point, a little point in time, um, where people were challenging themselves to do nice pieces with stock tips,
Okay.
and that was cool. Um, that like that dude, Air rest in peace. He was one of the ones that were just pushing themselves, and a lot of us started just doing stuff. I got pictures of some pieces. And I look back, I'm like, man, like '96, that was my favorite year. I was painting so much that I would be done with a piece quick, and I would outline with a stock tip. I was crispy, and that was my favorite year, even till now. It was like '96 was 95, '96. That was the best years for me.
Way back in '96.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
can you tell a kid that's might be listening to this or might see this that wants to start painting and he's just gonna go for it? What would you tell that kid?
Man, if there's any kids like writing, I mean, like I said, I don't really see them no more, man. I see them in their 20s now, and I mean, in their 20s, I would just say respect, or let's just say kids, right?
Hmm.
Because like what they told me,
I'm talking about like 11, 12 years old for anybody out
yeah. I
there
mean, if
wanting.
they're still out there, because that's something that I don't see no more, bro, and that's on the real. I don't know, like in the junior houses, that's still going on, but back then in the junior high, you had junior high crews back then.
Oh wow.
Shout out to Sezo and Proud, those guys. I remember they would hype us up. They were nice with their tags, bro. They would had the sweetest tags, man, and you'd be like, man, I wanna be like that. I wanna be dope and have dope hand styles and shout out to those guys, man. Gabriel and Thaddeus, man, those guys. But anyway,
Shout out
I,
them.
I would tell them what like the homie Chi, he put me up on game. He told me, don't be jocking people. People don't like that. Practice your skills and respect. Don't be capping over or going over people and starting trouble. It's just respect. And of course, if you get disrespected, that's when you gotta try to figure out what's going on. If you gotta throw blows, because a lot of even though when I came up, there was a lot of shootings and killings people did, took it to the restroom or something and then threw their blows, and hopefully that was it.
Yeah.
Or there would be like some long standing little beef. But if you like respect, man, that's the biggest thing, and try to keep it fun. You just remember what you got into graffiti for. You got into it because you seen those dope letters, that dope style, and keep your mind on that. Do it for that reason. Don't do it for other stuff that's gonna sidetrack you. And next thing you know, you're just having beef, can't even come outside because you're nervous they're gonna catch you slipping. And
Yeah, because I mean, sometimes beef could get serious, man.
yeah,
Sometimes.
man, people have died, man. People have died. People have been stomped out. People have been brain dead, and that's a damn shame, man.
Yeah, because a lot of people see they see graffiti, but they don't know the sweat and tears behind it. The things that actually contribute to that piece being there.
Yeah, and like I said, man, I probably sound like a softy, man, but you know what, man? There was a time where I got tired of running, man, and I had to do my thing just to prove to myself, like, hey, man, I could do some damage too, because I grew up with killers, like literally on my block. We had killers. We had
Yeah.
people that would knock you out. We had people that wouldn't even warn you. They just took off on you, like bap bap. I grew up with that, and there came a time, in my I want to say like 18 and 19, I got tired of running, man. I started packing. I started like
It's time to.
hitting people with bats and just to prove to myself. But you know what? I didn't like it, man. I was just like, man, this it's not me. I did it just to prove to myself like I could do it. But at the end of the day, I mean, I didn't like doing that, bro. But Anyway, I'm saying that to say like, be positive, man. All that stuff is messed up, man. You know, people get hurt, and there's no need for it, man. Like I'd rather push that than try to push you, because there's some punk ass fools, man, that'll hype you up. You get locked up, you doing years, and them fools, they won't even send you money or nothing. You know, they're just like, but they hyped you up, man.
To
You
go
know,
do what you want to go do.
yeah, man. And you got fooled, you got bamboozled, you got pumped up to do some stupid stuff. So you got to be smart, man, and just say no means no. And if they ain't cool with you, then hey, man, shake them off. You don't need them type of friends, man, because you know what I
Yeah,
mean.
definitely, man. I mean, I'm a victim to that. You know, I've done things where like, hey, go over here, go do this, whoop de whoop, and there you was, and one thing leads to another, and
Yeah,
it's like,
man, you get life in prison, bro. I know people that are doing life, bro, in Pelican Bay, and some of them are some solid dudes. They ain't trying to snitch. They're solid, but they're doing life, man. They're done, and I'm just like, damn, man, like.
man, I feel you
I
on
think
that.
God like goes back to my brother. Like he told me, you know, and he put me up on game. Like, don't get caught up in this. You don't want to go in there. There's nothing but snakes in there, and you know, it's like don't get caught up in that drama. You don't want to. You ain't if you ain't made for it, or even if you made for it, man, don't get caught up, man.
You definitely just want to stay positive. I mean, as long as you're being a graffiti writer, you know, you stay positive, do your work, enjoy it while you can, because you get to an age where it's like bones start hurting.
Yeah, man. I mean, shoot, bro, I be hurting, man. I mean, you know, I'm not. You know, you can see me. I'm not in best shape, but yeah, I used to be doing pieces like in 2 hours. Now it takes me like 4. I can't even bend down. All that's me though. Some of the homies are fit.
Some of the homies out there still holding it down.
Oh yeah, some of the homies could go on, but some of the homies got gout. Some of the, I won't say no names, but some of them have gout, and
We don't want to point no fingers.
yeah, some of them can't tie their shoelaces. Some of us are hurting now, but like we're just getting older, and we just do what we like, you know. We just like nowadays, I just tell myself this is a hobby that I love to do, and that's all it is. Is you know, I put God and family first, man. You know,
And
and
now that we mentioned family, how would you feel if a son or a daughter told you, "Hey, Dad, I paint"?
you know, honestly, I wouldn't want them to, man, because there's a lot of I just want to protect my kids, man. I want them to do right, and even though graffiti was like a lesser evil than gang banging,
Mm-hmm.
man, we got shot at, man, and we got chased, and we got caught up in some drama. As much as I didn't want to, and it was just because we were in tough areas, you know, and we got lucky, man. We got blessed, you know. God was looking out for us. I mean, I can remember, I was hiding under a tumbleweed, and the homie got shot, and I had to pretend like I was dying to scare the guy. It was silhouettes. It was dark, and I could have died. I had to pretend I was dying, bro. And I won an Oscar award for that night, man. Like he got spooked, and all you could see is a silhouette run, and
Man,
he didn't even tell us nothing. Like
those
he
are the type of
just
situations that be tough.
yeah. So I wouldn't want my kids to get into none of that. And then man, there's some shady characters in the graph game, bro.
Before we get on out of here, brother, I got 2 more questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
One, can you share a chase story?
A chase story? Oh man,
A
heck
good
yeah.
one.
Bro. And shout out to the homie Skirp, because my craziest stories are with Skirp.
Shout out Skirp. Am I saying the right Skirp or
Skirp, Skerp.
Skirp?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, he's I2W too. You know, he's
Shout out Skirp.
MOD, TNT, GAW, and but like this guy, it was crazy, bro. Like that was me trying to be a knucklehead and hang out with just crazy guys, and they were from South Central, you know, and
Mhm.
South Central was like, it was more wilder than Compton, and you know what I mean. It was like being hood, but on an energy drink. So
Mhm.
it was crazier. And what I was gonna say was sometimes we would get caught up, you know, like the story I told you, like we got caught up in a burnt building from the riots. There was a lot of burnt buildings from the riots back then,
Okay.
and there was only one way in, one way out.
In LA?
Yeah, LA,
Okay.
bro, somewhere, and I don't remember the streets exactly, but you know, to the guy, if he's ever like listening to this, you asshole, you freaking shot the homie, and I played it off, act like I was dying, but anyway, man, like that was we had nowhere to run, man. I know you said a story to run. We had nowhere to run. I had to hide behind a tumbleweed.
He caught you guys painting or something?
Yeah, we just went in a fence to go, because you could see this, like if you go and hit the walls, you could see your name, like as you were driving through like Broadway or Main.
Yeah.
And we went a little too early to go paint, bro. It was just getting dark early, and we went in there to paint, and I don't know if I shouldn't say names, but I mean, it was me and Skirp were there, and this dude, I could see the silhouette, and I thought it was just gonna be some random like graph dude just want to know like, hey, what you guys write, this and that. But nah, man, he didn't say nothing. Like I just heard the homie Skirp kind of like saying, yo, no, no, no. And this dude just the loudest damn gun I ever heard, because it was enclosed, and it was just boom, 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 boom. I'm like, oh my God.
How many times he hit him?
Bro, he hit the homie, and I don't want to say his name, but you know who you are, dog. And I thought Skirp got smoked, but Skirp did like a Matrix move or something, man, and the guy behind him got shot. And me and the other homie were on the other side, and this guy couldn't see us because it was pitch dark, and there was these big tumbleweeds. And he heard noise running around, so he started walking slowly, trying to find out. And so as he was getting closer, I act like I was dying, bro, because that was the only thing I could do, because there was no way to run out.
Mm-hmm.
And only that one hole, but it was way on the other side. And I played it off like I was dying, and like God must have touched his heart, bro. I seen just a shadow just turn around and take off, like saying, "What the hell did I do?" He snapped out of it, and
you think this guy was a gangbanger, or what was he?
I don't know. He had to be a gangbanger, bro. Like it was just still
tripping, huh?
It was still like a little past the mid-90s, and bro, I don't know what. It was a tough area, so you know what I mean. He's just like, hey man, you ain't from around. You don't belong here, and that was the craziest. That was probably the craziest one, and all my crazy stories over Skirp, bro. Yeah, that fool was crazy, man. And you know what?
He's still around, Skirp?
Oh yeah, he's still around.
Yeah,
freaking hot sauce.
Shout out hot sauce.
Hot sauce. Yeah. And you know what? We dropped off the homie to the hospital, and we kept painting, bro. That's how freaking dumb we were back then, man. It was just
kept going at it.
Yeah, that was probably my craziest story, man.
Last question I got for you, brother. Before we get out of here, favorite sneaker you like to go painting?
Favorite sneaker?
Favorite shoe you got to put on? Sandals, thong sandals, Crocs.
Damn, thongs. I don't know.
Huaraches.
I've been wearing Reeboks lately, and shoot, I like Reeboks, bro. The
Reeboks?
old school, the classics. Yeah, they got a big cushion, man. So.
Yeah. Man, shout out Pistol45, man. We have him in the building.
All right, man. Just want to give the shout out to the crews I'm from, man. Of course, first and foremost, the I2W Crew, In It to Win It, UTI, SKA, and RF, bro. And 2022, bro. We still here, and I appreciate you, like hooking up to do an interview, man.
It's all love, man. People need to hear it. The OGs are still outside.
Yeah, man.
All love.